let's get started by talking about, you believe there's two myths that people have about starting a business. What are the two myths, and why are they myths?
The first myth I'd say is that they need, well, the two myths are, at least as of this minute, and I think these are pretty universal now for me, are one, that they need an idea to get started and need an idea they're passionate about, and two is that they need money. And I think they're somewhat related. So I'll start with the first one about passion or idea. And that's a myth that I think is perpetuated because, you know, you learn that you should do something you love. You should be passionate about what you're doing, and all that kind of stuff. I think there's a combination of being good at something so that you'll be passionate about it because you're just good at it and you can learn faster because you're good at it and you might want to get better at it. Then there's a concept of, you know, the thing that bugs me is when people really wait for an idea instead of just getting started. So to me, I think the true entrepreneurs that I've met end up just being passionate about being able to create things, being able to help other people, being able to sort of do all of that from nothing. And that's really what I would say is where I would start in terms of dispelling that myth and saying most people just start. And through that process, they come up with ideas and things that they're passionate about.
Totally get the idea of like following what you want to learn about. Then talk about how the money piece comes into play. Because if you're just focused on learning, where do you start focusing on revenue?
Yeah, I'd say that, like, you know, part of that learning at some point, you know, whether you know it or not, comes from, well, I want to figure out how to make money or be, you know, whether it's self-sustaining or build, you know, what they call a billion-dollar business. Well, you don't build a billion-dollar business by setting out to build a billion-dollar business. I mean, I think if, you know, you build a business by like having your incremental steps and starting to make money in some category and actually get people to pay you. So if you're focused around getting customers to pay you and getting good at that, or getting users to pay you depending on the type of business model you're going for, or getting advertisers to pay you, all you have to figure out is, who do I want to pay me? And how do I get better at that instead of worrying about raising money from investors? So my gripe with, you know, people thinking they need money is simply they think the only way to make money or get money to start is getting money from investors. But in fact, we're in a place today where most of the businesses I've seen that end up being successful end up making money and getting really good at making money. In fact, all business is about that. So I would just encourage you to try to start making money any which way you can, instead of worrying about raising money. And that's kind of the myth that I'm trying to dispel, which is that most great things start just by somebody focusing on getting somebody to pay them.
Is there anything you guys are doing now that you think people haven't caught up to yet?
It's a good question. I think now we're in a world where you build a foundation of audience as early as you can. Mm-hmm. So even today, if we launch a new feature, launch a new product, or want to do sort of customer development on something new, we have a pretty large Twitter following at Kissmetrics. We've also got personal followings, both my co-founder and I, that combined are probably, if you dedupe it, 150,000 or 100,000 or something like that. Yep. People. And our Kissmetrics account is about 110,000 followers. So I think what people don't do today is they don't try to find out how they can build a following of people that are very interested in the topic area or whatever it may be. And so what I would do is I'd try to find a way to build a following, build an email list where you're actually engaging with them. We actually didn't engage with them back in the day the way I think you need to today, so they can sort of come along with you on the journey and the story. So, you know, everyone's doing something for a reason. The problem they see in the world, or a problem that they notice that their friend has or that businesses have, and then are trying to discover whether that a lot of people have that problem, which is the general thesis of how you should do this stuff.
Well, in the pre-interview, you mentioned that you haven't had a lot of fear when it comes to business. Where does that come from? Like, because I feel like fear is like the biggest thing that holds most people back.
I think you learn over time that the fear just drives you away from actually doing the right thing. So you know, when you do something, think about it. Am I doing it out of fear? Mm-hmm. Right? Are you doing something out of fear, or not doing something out of fear? And really, you know, finding out, you know, a lot of times most of the decisions we make are out of fear. So I think at some point you realize that the things that you probably ended up feeling good about and making progress on, you did because you went against that fear, against that feeling of, you know, the fear of the unknown. So I would just say that it's a mentality, and it's something you train yourself with over time, of just having no fear about, especially things that are I guess it's not having fear by just breaking down what can I control, what can I not control, and then focusing on all the things you can control.
Yeah.
Right. And usually that's a way of not even thinking about fear. People either get caught up in not having an idea or they get stuck on an idea. And so I would say that just think of your idea as more a solution to a problem. And think of ideas in general as solutions to problems. And then I would work backwards and think about, if you're really early and you have an idea and hopefully you nail it down to a problem, think about, this is where other people mess up too. Think about what you're going to need to learn to be able to solve that problem. Because sometimes people think of the great grandiose problems that are just going to take forever for them to learn things to solve those problems, right? So then you have to minimize the problem you're going to solve and solve a smaller problem, if you want to call it that, or solve a problem for somebody and in a way that you can actually achieve in a short amount of time.
Even as you say that, like, I feel more relaxed hearing that, as opposed to I have to come up with this idea and I have to build a business around it, versus just focusing on where are people having problems and what do I need to learn to solve those problems.
There will never be a shortage of problems in the world.
It seems so simple.